Another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
I think, from what everybody is saying out there, unfortunately, I know we try to be an upbeat channel, but I don't think there's any way around it. I think we're heading into some difficult economic times.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the danger zone.
Exactly.
We can call it that.
Yeah, I believe it would be the danger zone. You're hearing, all the various experts out there saying that things are getting difficult. You hear Jeff Bezos saying, hold on to your money, and all that kind of thing. And when did you start selling on eBay, Mr. Magazine?
It's got to be 25 years ago.
Yeah, 1998, I think. That's when we joined, so it would have been shortly thereafter. I started selling in 2002 on my own. I was selling stuff on your site before then. So we've been through a number of downturns, 2008, just various downturns we've been through. And it's often said that people get very wealthy through recession/depressions, economic downturns. Some people get very wealthy. And what is your opinion on how the viewers out there, or you and me, for that matter, because I'm gonna be listening, how we can make money out of the downturn if it comes?
Man, you threw me a curveball. That's a tough one. For me, my only option is to sell, to keep selling. Just try and keep selling. Maybe discount some of your common, cheaper stuff that you don't mind losing money on, or just to turn over some money. Hold on to your good stuff. Don't sell your good stuff cheap, because that'll turn around eventually. But for me, I would just have to keep selling. I might have to, get rid of a couple employees or something like that, which, businesses have to do from time to time. But, for me, that's all I can think that, I can't shut everything down, and then what? Got all this inventory.
Cocoon.
Exactly. You gotta keep pushing it. Yeah.
See, and I'm coming at it from a different vantage point, because currently I've still got the day job. So I hate to say it this way because it's not entirely true, but my internet sales are my pin money, to use a term that nobody's used since 1927. And I am definitely noticing on Heritage, I'm just going to use that as an example, that prices are heading downward on comic books. So what I'm doing is, there's a saying out there, you want to keep your powder dry, which is you want to keep cash. Well, what I'm doing is I'm putting stupid bids, and by stupid bids I mean low bids, in on comic books. That they're not the blue chips. I mean, I'm not in a position where I can be buying, Action 1, Detective 27, anything like that. But they're solid comics. They're comics that are keys that are going to be keys in, 20 years, or minor keys in 20 years. It's not like I'm buying just a random issue of Action Comics 472, just to buy Action Comics 472. Their first appearances or number one issues or that kind of thing.
Sure.
And I'm putting low bids in on them, and occasionally I'm winning them. And I am lucky enough to be able to do that because of the day job. Well, let me ask you a question. If a comic book X, is worth $250 in VG,
okay,
in the guide,
yeah,
and it's always selling at Heritage for, generally it sells a little above guide, $275, $300, and I pick it up at $175, in the long term, can I be hurt?
Comics will always turn around. Just give it some time. Absolutely. When the economy's stronger in a year, comics will be stronger as well. So you can't go wrong.
Yeah, and that's kind of, and the way I'm looking at it is, it's a place to park my money.
Yeah, it's like buying stock when it's low. If it's a company you know is gonna, rise in value and expand and grow, it's the same thing. It'll come around.
Yeah, and these are also comics from the 60s, 70s, that kind of deal, as opposed to a comic book that was just on the shelf last week, and there could be a warehouse find of 9.8s.
Right.
That kind of thing as well. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Now, are you having any ideas of doing any of that? Do you do anything like that? Like, if collections come in, do you set stuff aside for the long term, or do you just try to move because you've got so much stuff coming in and out?
I'll try and move as best I can, but I'm not going to sell something way cheap. I'll hold on to it or keep my price. Like say, I got a comic that's 1,000. Someone offers me 800. I may take that, but I'm not going to take 500 or 600.
Right.
So
Well,
and
and
I'll still make money. I may not make as much as I want, but I'm getting the money to come in, and I can turn it over again and buy another collection. Because another thing that's going on, from what everyone's telling me, at least in Rochester, nobody's buying. So they're coming to me. They're like, "Hey, you're the only one buying." I've heard that a dozen times. Whether it's sports cards, comic books, or toys, I'm the only one buying, which is good for me. I'm stockpiling. It's the Christmas season, so hopefully I still can make out in this economy.
Now, let me ask you a question. Nobody else is buying.
Mm-hmm.
They're keeping their powder dry, or they don't have any powder to start with.
It could be both. I'm looking on eBay. Some of the local guys that sell on eBay, their sales are very, very low. So obviously that means no money's coming in. I'm sure if no money's not coming on eBay for them, money's not coming into their store either. So they have no money to go out to buy anything as well.
So would you suggest, I've got $10,000 that I am going to be investing in inventory, let's just say.
Okay.
Would you suggest, and obviously a deal is a deal is a deal. Somebody comes along with some incredible deal, you pull the trigger on it, period, end of story.
Sure.
But if you're buying the run-of-the-mill to slightly better than run-of-the-mill inventory, would you suggest buying it now? Or would you suggest waiting? If you've got some level of inventory you can list anyway.
I mean, I'm different. I'm the type of guy that, I don't want to lose out on a deal because it may not come back or someone else may take advantage of it. And I always feel like if I, not even...
Buy it when you see it.
Yeah, because not that I make low offers, but if I make an offer that is too low to them and I'm willing to go a little more, well, they may leave and go sell to someone else for less money just because they may be desperate or got to move it or something like that. But I would certainly take advantage of it if I could. You want to get a deal. You don't want to go too low and make a cheap low offer, an insulting offer, and take advantage of someone. But I try and make a fair offer and see what happens.
Well, and that does raise another question, though. And again, I certainly want the economy to turn around, and we always do our videos about a month in advance, 3 weeks in advance for the studio shows like this. Obviously, I hope that when you're watching this, you're saying, what are they talking about? The economy's booming. This is the greatest Christmas I've ever had. That's what I want everybody out there to say.
Sure.
However, the tea leaves are not showing that will happen.
Right.
But I hope you're watching this and saying these clowns don't know what they're talking about. The economy's great. That's truly what I hope. But I guess the other question comes in, if the economy does go south, is today's insulting offer insulting in 6 months?
That's a good question. Yeah. Hopefully not. But,
and especially if you're the only person buying,
right? Because
then you've got two situations happening. Number one, you have no competition for the stuff, and number two, you don't need the stuff because you're not going to. And again, I'm talking about run-of-the-mill and just above. I'm not talking about gold.
And that's a good point because I am very selective now, and I try to explain to people. I would normally buy this a year ago, 6 months ago. I am so overloaded with really good inventory. I don't want to insult them. I just don't need more of the same stuff. It's going to sit around. I don't make a lot of money on it, or it's just.
It's a slow mover.
You have to store it, whatever the case.
But even if you can make 10 times your money, but it's not going to sell for 2, 3, 4 years,
Yeah.
or it's not going to get listed.
Right. Example. Yeah, good example. That one collection of sports cards I bought. It was a friend of a friend, and I really didn't want it. It wasn't the right time. I didn't have a lot of room. And I just, it was probably worth, say, $5,000 to $10,000 if you retailed it all out, which is a lot of time and money. And I said, honestly, I don't want it. I hope you say no to this offer. I did offer him $1,000.
Oh, I was going to guess $500. Okay.
But well, I knew there was a couple things I could get my money back on, but the rest of the stuff was just work. Boxes of cards that were, opened up and sorted.
May or may not be complete.
There's some 80s and 90s and 70s stuff and whatever. But again, I knew I can get it was more of a favor to him, and I said, I understand if you say no, I'm fine with that. And he was happy. He said, I just want it out. We're getting more and more people like that. They just want to get rid of stuff. They're downsizing.
Yep.
They can't afford the house they're in. They're empty nesters now. And not that I want to take advantage of it, but I either have to say no or say this is my offer. I understand if you want to take it or leave it.
Yep. And that's always difficult as well. And there are many times when they take it anyway because, again, they've got their own reasons for wanting to get rid of this stuff.
Sure.
So hopefully that helps you a little bit. Just things to think about over there. Again, I'm doing a little different than Mr. Magazine's doing because I'm in a different spot right now. Again, I've got the day job income, and I'll be honest with you, I work for New York State. I'm not going to lose that job. It's not going to happen. So I've got guaranteed income coming in. So that gives me a certain flexibility that Mr. Magazine does not have. So I'm choosing to basically lowball Heritage, which is absolutely fine. It's a public auction.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, and if you happen to have consigned the comic there, well, that's not my problem that you got $150 when the last ones have sold for $400. That's not my problem at all. I mean, it was a public auction open to everybody.
Yeah.
But if I don't win it for $150, I don't care. I don't expect to win it for $150. So that's kind of the way that I'm going about things. And at some point, when everything opens back up in a couple of years, hopefully when you're watching this video, I'll be putting those things back out for sale.
Right.
And hopefully at that point it does go for the $300 to $400, and I paid $150 on it.
Sure.
It's kind of just a way to save the money because what am I going to get for it in the bank? What am I going to get for it anywhere else? And so I guess it's a hedge. Just in case inflation were to go crazy, in case, it's a hedge of some sort,
Right.
and something that's going to have some value to people because people are still going to want it.
Right.
So hopefully that helps you a little bit. Do hit the like button, and do let us know down below what your thoughts and opinions are on the economy, and whether we're fools because you're having the greatest Christmas ever or not as you watch this. We'll see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.